everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over how to set up a Tamagotchi mix as well as the basic menu and care for this Tama. With more Tamagotchi meats coming out, the prices for the Tamagotchi mix are dropping a little bit, but there's still a very great option for your first color Tama. Today I will be using the 20th anniversary gift mix. However, whether you have the Spacey, Dream, Sanrio, whichever one, the basic menu, interface, functions, and care are all going to be the same. The big differences between those Tamagotchis are the locations, a couple of the characters, and the games. First, before we get started, let's go over getting the battery compartment open and installing new batteries, because this can be a little bit confusing if you've never had a Japanese Tama before. I recommend using a paperclip or other blunt option. Do not use a screwdriver, that's not a good idea. And the bottom button on your Tamagotchi, you're going to press, and then you're going to push with your thumb to get the back off. This button right here is a reset button. This button right here is to get the battery back off. So of course you just insert two AAA batteries as normal, and then you kind of do the reverse with your thumb as far as pushing it in place. Now, if your Tamagotchi is brand new out of the box, it will open up to the setup screen. However, if you have a used Tamagotchi, these are the options you will get. The top option is Suzuki Kara, which is to continue the current game that you have. The second option is Data Okesu for erase the data. If you've purchased a Tamagotchi and you had the original owner get Japanese download station content on it for you, you'll want to select Suzuki Kara. If you'd like to start fresh, which is what we're going to do today, then you'll hit Data Okesu. However, once you choose this option, there isn't any going back. So in the example of the Japanese download stations, if you choose this option, you would lose all the information. So anyways, I'm confident that I would like to erase my previous game, so I'm going to hit the center B button. And then this is asking, are you sure? Top option is yes, second option is no. I'm going to use the A button to choose yes. And now it will take a second, but it will get us back to the original setup screen. Now we are at the basic Tamagotchi setup screen. If you bought a new Tamagotchi, this is the screen that you should come to first. Here you can see this icon flashing, and that's to set the date in the month-year format. Next, this is the time in the 12-hour format. You can change it to 24 hours later, but default is 12. This is your birth date, this time in the month date format. Now this is asking for your name, and this is a little bit confusing if you've never typed into a Tamagotchi before. Basically, each one of these flashing boxes can be a character. So when a box is flashing, press B button to select it, and now you will get rows and rows of Japanese characters, as well as some English characters down at the very bottom. Basically what you do is once you come to a row with characters that you'd like, select B button to move the cursor to the row. Now you can use the A button to select the letter or character that you'd like. Once you have all the characters typed that you would like to add, you can click on the A button to scroll through the empty spaces. Remember, you can also use the C button to go backwards if you've made a mistake. But once you're ready, scroll through to the end. Again, top button for yes, second option for no. Yes, this is the name we want. And give it one more second and you will have your Tamagotchi egg. Once you've gotten your egg, it's just a waiting game, but don't worry, it won't take too long and your Tamagotchi will hatch. Once you have your baby Tamagotchi, it will want your attention right away. So the first thing I recommend doing is heading over to the food option on your menu. To do so, use the A button to open the menu, the A button to scroll over to the second icon, and then the B button to select. We will go over the other menu options in just a moment. So for the baby, we'll choose the top option here, and then there's the bottle or the milk, and then there's chips for the baby to snack on. But of course, you'll want it to have milk before it gets any snacks. Once you've fed your Tamagotchi a little bit, to check on how hungry your Tamagotchi is, go back to the menu and click on the first icon, first option, and then click the A button once more. And this will show you your Tamagotchi's happiness level here, which ours is completely empty, and then their hunger level, which we can feed him 4 more times. So we will head back over, and you can easily skip the animation so you can make sure they get a lot of food. Once they're full, I like to spam them with cookies to help load their happiness up. I know cookies would not be healthy for a real-life baby, but don't worry, it's not going to hurt your Tama at all. And that's basically the extent of what you can do with your Tamagotchi as a baby. Of course, keep a close eye on it because it will go to the bathroom when it has pooped on the floor or when it has little like squiggles around its sides. You'll want to head over to the toilet option. And then if it has a skull or like a tooth that looks sore, you'll want to click on the first aid or medic kit. Also, I think I forgot to mention earlier that the C button is to go back. If you're in an option and you'd like to go back to either the main menu or just to your Tamagotchi's room, that's the button you'll use. That's really the extent of care for your Tamagotchi as a baby. So let me jump ahead in time to an adult Tamagotchi so I can explain the menu options and care in more depth. Fast forward a few days and I am now with an adult Tamagotchi named Mamechi to go over the menu and the basic care functions of the Tama. Caring for your Tama is basically the same as an adult and a baby, just some options are not available when you're younger. That is why I decided to go over this as an adult. When we press A button, the first menu icon is status and settings. So B button to select. Then we have status on the top. In here we have our character name, their gender. Then this top bar is their happiness. Second bar with the onigiri rice balls, that is their hunger level. Then we have their generation. He's the first gen. He is 4 days old, and this is how many Gotchi points we have. Then the second option here is settings. The top option is for time, which we're not going to mess with today. Second option is going to be your brightness. Now, if you turn this down a little bit, it will help your battery life. Next, we have sound. Of course, top option is on, second option is off. Then the last option is the icon menu, which is like the background of the menu that we have down here. So as you can see, I just changed it to the kind of cool, traditional, retro Tamagotchi, but I'll change it back to the default. So next on the menu, we have the food options. The top option is for eating at home. We have onigiri rice balls, and that is the main food to feed your Tamagotchi. And we also have a piece of candy, which is just a snack. It can really help boost your Tama's happiness, especially when you're busy and you don't have a lot of time to play with him. However, you have to be very cautious because the candy can give them a stomachache. So the second option in the food menu is to go to the cafe. Here we have meals and snacks, and of course these all cost money. The third option on our menu is the toilet. Of course, if your Tamagotchi goes to the bathroom on the floor, this is the icon that you will press, and it will automatically sweep up the bathroom waste. If your Tamagotchi has some squiggly lines around it and is shaking, then it probably needs to go to the toilet, and you can press that icon as well. So the top option here is to take it to the toilet, but he does not have to go, so he does not want to go there. Then the bottom option is to take a bath. If your Tamagotchi turns brown, this is what you'll want to select. Next, we have connection options. So the top one here is to connect to another Tamagotchi mix. The second is download to connect to a mix station in Japan. We unfortunately don't have those here. And then the bottom option is to connect to a PC, but again, I do not believe that that option is still available. Back to our menu. Next we have our family options. This option right here that is crossed out will become available once you have a second generation, and this is mom and dad's house. If you would like to send your Tamagotchi there instead of the babysitter, that is a great option. Next we have our family tree, and of course this is only my first generation, so there isn't much to see here. And then we have family photos. Next we have the Tama Town. Two options here, the Tama department store and the park. First, let's take a quick visit to the department store. Many important things here, of course, shopping. We have wallpapers, items, accessories, and then jewelry, which is what you'll want to buy if you would like to propose marriage to another Tamagotchi. Then, back to the Tama department menu, the second option is the game corner. And of course, you're definitely going to want to visit here. Each version of the Tamagotchi has their own games, and I think they're all a ton of fun. Back to this lower option for Tama Town, we can go to the park. And this is also very important in the mix because it's where you can drop your Tamagotchi off at daycare, because we all have work and school and we can't be with our Tamagotchis 24/7. First option is just to play at the plaza. Second option is for the playroom, to leave your Tamagotchi there for a day. In the playroom, this screen is asking yes or no, would you like to leave your Tama? Top option is going to be yes in this situation, but we don't want to leave him here right now. Back to our menu, second row, second icon. This is our locations, and these you unlock as you play your Tamagotchi. I only have a couple unlocked at the moment here, but eventually that will all be filled up with different places you can go. Each version of the mix has their own places to visit, and within each place there's different things to do. Each one typically has a plaza where you can hang out and meet other Tamagotchis, and they also have an option to propose to those Tamagotchis. Then many have a shop or other special things such as more games. Continuing on, next we have our treasure chest here, and here we can find a bunch of important stuff. At the top we have items. You get these blocks as a default, but anything that you buy under items will be found here. Next we have accessories, which I don't have any at the moment. Then we have cleaning equipment. This is of course essential. If your Tamagotchi's room suddenly turns brown, you will want to come to this. And then there's an option for special items. Next is the journal, or the diary. On the top, you can see all the other Tamagotchis that you've met. And I haven't been playing this Tama too much, so I haven't met anyone. It's also important to note that on the side here, once you meet someone, this bar will change different colors. And the colors indicate how well you know that Tamagotchi. When I believe it's blue, the relationship has just started. You don't know the Tamagotchi too well. But once it turns to a pinkish red color, that means that you do know the Tamagotchi well, and you could propose to them, providing that they are the opposite gender of your Tama. On the second option here, this shows players that you've connected with. So this was one of my Tamagotchis in my Sanrio, and this here shows that bar I was talking about. With the blue, the friendship has just begun, whereas the red, we would have been close friends. And there's one more option here in the family albums, and that is more photos. Lastly, we have the medic kit. There is no option within this icon. However, you must know where this option is, because if your Tamagotchi has a skull or a sore tooth, you will need to go to that right away. And if you neglect to care for your Tamagotchi when they have that icon needing help, they will unfortunately pass. Thankfully, it doesn't happen too often, but just be aware of it because it definitely is something you'll run into. So that's about it for the Tamagotchi menu. Now, caring for them is pretty simple. Of course, you'll want to make sure that they are getting enough food. This indicates how hungry they are. If they are full, they will refuse food, just as such. However, they will not refuse candy. And this is not really so much a hack, just a little good thing to know when you're too busy to really take care of your Tama. You can come in here and just spam him with candy like this for a minute or two, and eventually he will start refusing it, and at that point he'll have a toothache, which you must cure right away. So now he's refusing it. We'll back out and quickly head down to the medic kit. We'll get him taken care of right away, and hopefully we will see a little bit of improvement on his happiness. Just a tiny bit of improvement, but anything helps. I would say it's nearly impossible to keep your Tamagotchi's happiness meter full all the time, but you certainly don't want it to be sulking in the background. And you'll know what that looks like, and it's not happy when they do that. Next, of course, keeping everything clean. You don't want poop to stay on the floor for too long because it will cause sickness. Again, it's just this button that looks like a toilet. And keeping their room clean, which is this third option in your treasure chest. So those are really the things that you need to keep on top of. The bonuses to getting to know your Tamagotchi and playing with it often would be unlocking more locations and keeping your Tama's happiness level up. And the location unlocks vary by version of the Tamagotchi. However, some tips and tricks to start finding locations are to step out into the yard with the B button. Usually there's at least one location you can unlock by doing that. Try changing your wallpapers in the Tamagotchi department store, and try connecting with any other Tamagotchis that you have available to you. If you don't want to go through trial and error, you can of course look up a Tamagotchi unlock guide on YouTube or Google. They are out there. However, it's up to each person how they'd like to play. And I think that about covers the basics. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can, of course, reach me in the comments below. I also use Instagram, Twitter, and I'm on Discord probably the most. Discord is probably the best way to get a hold of me, followed by Instagram. And then Twitter, I try to check it at least once a day, but it's not my favorite place. And you can always visit me on Discord, not just for Tamagotchi help. We love to share pictures of our Tamagotchis there, as well as just chat about things that we enjoy. So I hope to keep in touch with you on one of those. But either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.